Hi, I wanted to talk about several ethical concerns with the Three Faces of Eve study. Um, there are a few. It is a bit of a questionable study. The first one that I wanted to talk about um, was Section 3, Human Relations. There are a few here. The biggest one is the multiple relationship aspect of the study. I'm not exactly clear on the nature of their relationship, but it did seem that the psychologist and the subject of the study had a social relationship outside of the study, which does open the door to some exploitation and possible harm. In fact, the whole study has a sort of exploitative element around it. It seems a bit exploitative. There seems to be a bit of a conflict of interest because the psychologist seems to have been interested, seems to have an interest in sensationalizing or phenomenalizing the mental disorder, the multiple personality disorder, for the sake of profiting from the publication of this video. Of course, that's another ethical concern is the publication of the video. So it wasn't exactly clear whether um, whether the subject of the study was consented to have that footage recorded and published if she was completely clear of what she was consenting to, informed consent. It's not exactly clear that was there. Of course, that's super important if you're publishing a video, especially a video of the nature that this video is, kind of sensationalized, kind of um, you know phenomenalized. Like, it is important for the subject to have clear consent. I think that's one thing that I would want included um, in the study if there were to if it were to be redone, was a bigger focus on that consent. Um, you know, I would want a, a focus more on long-term care. It's kind of questionable that the end of the video is kind of just like this. Oh, it got resolved several weeks later. The you know the case resolved itself. That's a little sketchy to be putting out there. There's a real lack of like long term. The video lacks a focus on long term care, a focus on you know how a patient can be treated, a patient of this type, which is a little irresponsible. And I think if I would want some questions excluded that kind of had an exploitative feeling to them. Some questions that really seemed like they were there to get an interesting reaction out of Eve rather than like a psychologically relevant one. Um, so I would want a more standardized, you know, uh, series of questions for the different personalities. It seemed like it was just the psychologist talking to um, the different personalities, trying to get them to say something interesting rather than like a scientific, you know, uh, we're going to ask each Eve these questions and compare the results, the responses in ways that can be used to learn more about the disorder. So those are the ethical concerns. Thanks for watching.